In the context of correspondence, blind carbon copy allows the sender of a message to conceal the person entered in the BCC field from the other recipients. This concept originally applied to paper correspondence and now also applies to email. BCC has also been redescribed after the demise of carbon paper, as blind copy circulated. The meaning remains the same. In some circumstances, the typist creating a paper correspondence must ensure that multiple recipients of such a document do not see the names of other recipients. To achieve this, the typist can add the names in a second step to each copy, without carbon paper. Set the ribbon not to strike the paper, which leaves names off the top copy. With email, recipients of a message are specified using addresses in any of these three fields: to primary recipients, CC, carbon copy; to secondary recipients, other interested parties, BCC, blind carbon copy; to tertiary recipients who receive the message. The primary and secondary recipients cannot see the tertiary recipients. Depending on email software, the tertiary recipients may only see their own email address and BCC, or they may see the email addresses of all recipients. It is common practice to use the BCC field when addressing a very long list of recipients, or a list of recipients that should not know each other, for example in mailing lists. Benefits of blind carbon copy: there are a number of reasons for using this feature. BCC is often used to prevent an accidental reply all from sending a reply intended for only the originator of the message to the entire recipient list. To send a copy of one's correspondence to a third party when one does not want to let the recipient know that this is being done. To send a message to multiple parties with none of them knowing the other recipients. This can be accomplished by addressing a message to oneself and filling in the actual intended recipients in the BCC field. However, this does not ensure that the BCC addresses will be hidden from other BCC addresses in all implementations. To prevent the spread of computer viruses, spam, and malware by avoiding the accumulation of block list email addresses available to all BCC recipients, which often occurs in the form of chain letters. Disadvantages of blind carbon copy: depending on the particular email software used, the recipient may or may not know that the message has been sent via BCC. In some cases, undisclosed recipients, unregistered trademark placed in the to line shows that BCC has been used. In other cases, the message appears identical to one sent to a single addressee. The recipient does not necessarily see the email address originally placed in the to line. When it is useful for the recipients to know who else has received a BCC message, their real names, but not their email addresses, can be listed in the body of the message, or, a meaningful substitute for the names can be placed in the body of the message, for example to General Manager and members of Remunerations Committee unregistered trademark, or to the whole blogs family unregistered trademark. Visibility: in most implementations, the recipient of an email can see any email address specified by the sender in the to, or CC, fields. If, on the other hand, the sender has specified addresses in the BCC field, the recipient in this case cannot see these BCC addresses. The Internet standard for email messages is RFC 2822 and the BCC header is discussed in section 3.6.3. It is unclear whether BCC is designed to ensure the BCC addresses are hidden from each other. On the one hand, it says, the BCC field contains addresses of recipients of the message whose addresses are not to be revealed to other recipients of the message. It also states, there are three ways in which the BCC field is used. In the first case, when a message containing a BCC field is prepared to be sent, the BCC line is removed even though all of the recipients are sent a copy of the message. In the second case, recipients specified in the to and CC lines each are sent a copy of the message with the BCC line removed as above, but the recipients on the BCC line get a separate copy of the message containing a BCC line. Finally, since a BCC field may contain no addresses, a BCC field can be sent without any addresses indicating to the recipients that blind copies were sent to someone. Which method to use with BCC fields is implementation dependent and may depend on both one's mail user agent and mail submission agent. Since the hiding of the BCC addresses from other BCC addresses is not required by RFC 2822, one cannot assume the BCC addresses will be hidden from other BCC addresses. Security considerations. Both RFC 2821 and RFC 2822 discuss problems with BCC in their security consideration sections, in part because, as mentioned above, the processing for the BCC header is not standardized and there are several ways that it can commonly be implemented. RFC 2821 notes that some mail systems will add private headers showing all recipients that the email was sent to, thus leaking the BCC list. RFC 2822 notes three problems. If the BCC header is completely removed, people who receive a blind copy may not notice they are not on either the to or CC, and reply to everyone, thus leaking that blind copies were sent. If the BCC header is not removed for people being sent a blind copy, then all blind copy recipients will know who received blind copies. If the email addresses on the BCC header are removed, but the header is not, this will leak the fact that some blind copies were sent. Email spam occasionally uses BCC to create fake accidental leaks of confidential information, for example in a variant of the pump and dump scheme. Carbon versus courtesy. The interpretation of BCC as blind courtesy copy is a backronym and not the original meaning. The historic RFC 733 has an explicit blind carbon annotation in its definition of the BCC header field syntax. CC and BCC mean carbon copy and blind carbon copy respectively. Sending courtesy copies of mailing list replies also directly to the author, S, of answered message, S, is a common practice on some lists, and matches a new interpretation of CC as abbreviation for courtesy copy. References. External links, U.S. CERT Cybersecurity Tip Street 04-008, Benefits of BCC.